You know, in the high-stakes world of robotaxis, we're talking about billions of dollars on the line. But honestly, the real grand prize, it's something you can't buy: public trust. And that's the thing, right? As one observer put it, a reputation is hard to build and just so easy to destroy. One bad incident can literally change everything. This whole game isn't just about the tech. It's about how we feel about the tech. It's about perception. And this road to a driverless future, well, it's paved with some incredible breakthroughs, but also some pretty spectacular failures. Just look at this tale of two robotaxis. On one side, you've got Cruise. I mean, they were a market leader, right? Then came that horrible incident where a pedestrian was dragged by one of their cars, and bam, operations screeched to a halt. GM, their parent company, just pulled the plug. But then on the other side, you've got Waymo. They've been playing it steady, and now they're expanding city by city, really seizing the opportunity that Cruise left wide open. This massive contrast, it sets up the big question we're tackling today. Who is actually winning the safety race? Okay, so before we can even think about declaring a winner, we've got to get on the same page. We need to understand the rule book. How do you even measure a crash? How do you measure safety in a way that's actually fair and accurate? Believe me, it's a lot more complicated than it sounds. All right, first thing you need to know, not all data is created equal. Not by a long shot. Think about it. The police reports, the ones that make the evening news, they usually only capture the really severe accidents. But insurance claims, now that's a different story. They give us a much, much more complete picture. We're talking everything from a tiny fender bender to injuries that maybe don't even show up for a few days. And that brings us to the key metric here, the one used in this huge study by Waymo and the insurance giant Swiss Re, the liability claim. So what is that? It's not just a report saying a crash happened. It's a measure of responsibility. It's all about figuring out who was at fault. And that, right there, makes it a super powerful tool for an actual, honest-to-goodness, apples-to-apples comparison between humans and machines. Okay, so we've got our metric. We know how we're keeping score. Now, let's look at the official scorecard. This is it. Humans versus the machine, backed by a massive data set from the real world. And the headline finding from that study? Wow, it's right here. It's a single number: 0. Let that sink in. In over 3.8 times million miles of fully autonomous, rider-only driving, Waymo's system was responsible for exactly 0 crashes that led to a bodily injury claim. 0. Okay, let's dig into the full data here. See these charts? The blue dots, that's the baseline for us, for human drivers. The green dots, that's the autonomous system. Now, the category you really want to focus on is RO. That stands for rider-only mode. That's the fully driverless car. No safety driver, just you in the back. And look, on both charts, for both bodily injury and property damage, the green dots for rider-only mode are way, way lower than the blue dots for us humans. So what's the bottom line here? Let's just boil it all down. When it's in that fully driverless mode, the Waymo driver showed a 100% reduction in claims for bodily injury, 100%, and a 76% reduction in property damage claims compared to human drivers in the exact same areas. The data, it's pretty clear. In this study, the machine was significantly safer. But look, as impressive as one company's data is, it's still just one company. It's only part of the story. For this amazing technology to really take off, to scale up everywhere, we need a common set of rules for everybody. So let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture. What's the government doing about all this? And you know what? The regulators are definitely not just sitting around. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, you'll hear them called NHTSA, they're putting out regular research reports. And over in Congress, they're looking at something called the Self-Drive Act, which is a huge deal. It's aiming to create the very first federal safety rulebook for autonomous vehicles. And this just gives you a little taste of how insanely complex this whole challenge is. The regulators have to figure out totally new standards for everything. How do you even test the crash safety of a car that has no steering wheel? Or how should a driverless car talk to you, the passenger, in an emergency? It is a massive, massive undertaking. And all of this brings us right to the heart of the matter, the core tension of this entire topic. On one hand, you've got this really compelling data. And on the other, you have this deep, deep public doubt. So let's just lay it out. On the pro side, the data is incredibly powerful. The most rigorous study we have so far shows a huge safety improvement over human drivers, at least for one of the big players. But then there's this. A brand new survey finds that 6 out of 10 US drivers are actually afraid to ride in a self-driving car. And this fear isn't just some abstract idea. It's fueled by the glitches we all see on the news, right? Robotaxis just freezing up in the middle of the street during a power outage. So the data might be really good, but the optics can be absolutely terrible. So that's where we are. We're left with this final question. The numbers are pointing one way, but public opinion is pointing in a completely different direction. The technology is here. The data, for what it's worth, says it's safer. But the ultimate test of this whole revolution, it's not going to be in a lab or in some research paper. It's going to be on a street corner. The driverless car pulls up, the door slides open, and you have to decide. Are you getting in?